Welcome back to the tutorials on Alea Jacta Est, the Roman Civil Wars. This is tutorial number 6, and this topic will be using the function keys from F1 to F8. So we're not going to really do anything with the map this turn. I want to bring you a general overview of the function keys. So to bring up your function keys, you have two options. One is you can click one of these open books up here. So let me just click on F1, and then it's going to bring up a very large box. Or another option is to simply just press F1 on your keyboard. I've sort of gotten the habit of usually just pressing F1, F2, F3, etc. Or sometimes clicking down here. It really depends on what your preference is. Yeah, so let's take a look at the 8 function keys. And the function keys really do two things. One is they tell us information in a table format, and they also give you, actually they tell us information other ways too. We're going to see that in a minute, but they also give you important political options to decide upon, and that's F4. We'll take a look at that in just a few minutes. Oops, let me just bring it over again. Let's take a look at the forces. So if you click on F1, it brings up your forces tab or your forces area, and you then have a number of options, and you can sort depending on what you're looking for. It starts off sorted by force name, so alphabetical. You could sort by region. So let's say you wanted to, I don't know, you were really curious who was in the region of Cicero. So then you're here, but you don't want to click on this. If you want to go to the force, you then need to go over here and click on force, and then it actually opens it. There you go. There it is. Wow, actually that's a big force, 32,000 men. So I'm going to press F1 and go back. You can click on commander stats up here, and it's going to sort by basically your generals. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 generals, and it's actually sorting by looks like it's sorting by overall best ability. So 533 is better than 523. This is a pretty cool one. You can sort by strength, and actually we need to scroll up, see who our strongest force is. 1107. So that's actually a stronger force than what Caesar has in Rome. Anyways, I'm not going to go through all of these, but I think you get the idea. Basically, you have the ability to sort based on different parameters. And remember, if you want to go to that force or that unit, you just go over here, and the handy unit tooltip tells you click to close the window and focus on the current unit. Oh, actually, and this is a new thing. You can sort of use other parameters up here. So, for example, click to hide stacks with a leader. So I click on that. Now only stacks without a leader are shown. Okay, something like that. Or if you don't care about forces that are locked, and by the way, in AGEOD, what that means, if it's locked, it means you currently cannot move it. And then you may be able to move that force later on in a few turns, or it may be they're locked permanently, and that is to promote historical gameplay. For instance, a local militia is not going to be sent across the world to fight. I mean, if they really are a local militia, for example. Let's just go to F2. So go down here and hit production. So we don't have any we don't have anything in production right now. We do. Yeah, that's interesting. We do have some units in replacement. So production is bringing in new units, and replacement is basically if you have lost part of your soldiers in a unit that's already in existence, it's going to replace them. Reinforcements, nothing on the way. Politics. We have 9 options, and oh wow, there's a lot here. But let's just take one for example: minor propaganda campaign. So we can spend some of our EP. So if you spend 1 EP and 100 denarii, then you're going to gain 2 national morale and 2 loyalty. And this is going to be you really need to think about, of course, your strategy and what you need to gain and how much money you can spend. Various, this is blank right now, so various and reinforcements don't have anything. Map, this is pretty cool. It shows an overall, well, basically our gameplay map, and you can then highlight, if you just want to see, like, okay, who's that? There's the Roman garrison, for instance. And then you can see that Caesar's in Rome. So kind of an interesting way for us to see a really big picture of where our forces are. And of course, where we don't have fog of war, we can see that there's a Pompeian army there. Objectives. I think I briefly showed this to you in one of the previous tutorials. If not, here is the objectives list, and it also shows who is in control of them. As you're playing the game, you're going to want to remember, well, you're going to want to focus on getting those objectives. And then it has some other information like VP, engagement points, our current morale, where our capital is, some general other gameplay. And background, this is a static page, so it stays here, and it basically talks about, okay, the history of the time leading up to the war, from 59 BC to where we're actually started in 50 BC. So these are your function options. Again, forces, production, reinforcements, politics, various, map, objectives, background. There's a lot in there. Of course, you're not going to use these every single time. You're not going to look at the background every single time, or even the objectives, because as you're playing the game, you're going to sort of know what your objectives are. But you will definitely want to periodically go back there and take a look, or occasionally look at the map and have an overall view. You're definitely going to be interested in your politics, production, and reinforcements. So yeah, so that's kind of a sort of a basic tutorial on your F1 to F8 options. Yeah, I think the map one's actually new. This is really a new thing. I didn't play Pride of Nations, so it may have been in that, but it was not in Birth of Nations 2 or American Civil War, the other 2 games of AGEOD that I've played. So I like it. It's a really good looking map. All right, this has been tutorial 6. Of Alea Jacta Est. Ooh, I'll give you one final tip. If you ever want to go back to your capital, go to the top left, click on the shields. Boom, back to Roma. All right, see you next time.